So hi, I'm Jimmy and this is my May wrap-up. I hauled 12 books this month and I read 12 books this month, so I have officially made 0 progress. So I've picked 3 books that I've read this month to do a full sort of review on. So these ones, there's a good chance you haven't heard of them. They were really amazing and I really recommend them. So I'm going to talk about those 3 and then I'm just going to tell you the rest of the books I read this month. First one being the Shadow Trilogy by Anthony Ryan. So this one is about Valen as he grows up in the 6th Order, learning to fight, learning to defend himself, becoming an incredibly famous warrior. And as he grows up, he sort of transforms into this really noble man. And he starts to question the order that he's grown up fighting for, question the faith that he originally thought was finite. It's just really cool. I really liked it. It's high fantasy. It's awesome. The interesting thing that I like about this one, which is why I really want to recommend it to you guys, is that it has this incredible ability to pull you through this novel. Like, it took me a long time to read, but I was just itching to like read faster and faster, and I'd have to slow myself down because I didn't want to miss any of the details. But I think the reason why it was so gripping was that the first sort of image you're presented with of Valen is that he's a condemned man. Like, everybody's afraid of him. They say he's like this horrible killer. The narrator, who you come to hate pretty damn fast, says he's this terrible person and that he killed someone who he really shouldn't have killed. And he just has only negative things to say about him, but then you see what Valen's actually doing, and he's all chained and stuff like that, but it was per his request so that everybody else would feel safer. He's accommodating, he's really level-headed and calm and wise, and he just seems like a really noble, amazing guy, and you're like, how can this guy be a condemned warrior? Like, how can so many people, how can this narrator hate him so much? I really recommend it. If you like fantasy, this is a staple. It's akin to Mistborn. Like, I would almost like this one more than Mistborn. Like, how do I put this? I like Valen more than I like Elend, but I like Vin more than I like everybody else. So, the second book that I would really like to recommend is Jeremy Scott's The Ables. It's about these kids who find out they have superpowers, and they're going into, I think it's middle school. I don't think they're that old. I think they're like 15, 16. But anyway, they're going into school, they're being enrolled into a superhero high school, and they find out that they're living in a superhero town, and that the world has superheroes, they're just hidden. And the main character, Philip, he's super excited that he finds out he has a superpower, but then in his high school he gets put into the disabled class because he's blind. Did I mention that? Probably not, but he is. And he sort of forms this band of misfits with all the other disabled kids, and it's just a really fun, really sort of quirky novel. I would really recommend this one because of the characters and the way each of them individually, they aren't enough. They can't really function properly. I mean, there's nothing they can't do, but it's just they don't excel individually, but together they sort of make up for each other's faults and what they're lacking, which is really amazing, and it's just really cool misfit story. It reminds me of The Darkest Minds. Just kids doing what they want, sort of being awesome. It's really fun. I really like the ending. It wrapped up really nicely, and it's got a lot of parts in it that were really painful to read, because you just care about these characters so much, that when one of them gets hurt, you're like, oh no. But it was really excellently written. I really loved it. I loved the formatting. Like, I'm sure that Jeremy Scott had nothing to do with the formatting, but I love the formatting. Okay, don't go crazy. Talk precisely. Don't rant. You can do this. So, Criet Hollowell has had a shitty life. Like, her life sucks. And then it turns fantastic, where she finds out she's an alien from a different world, and not only just an alien, like above society alien, like royalty alien, like priestess with superpowers alien. Which is awesome. But she ends up getting hauled back to her home planet to face judgment for something that she has no idea that she even did. And the world building to this one is phenomenal. Like, it's so good, it's so intricate. There's only one real plot hole that I ever came across, and it's really not even a major one. They put a translator thing in her head, and it's never really discussed clearly how she can speak to other people or whether they're speaking English. But it's really minimal, and it's just me being picky and OCD and complaining about something, because I feel like if I just say how fantastic this book is, it's gonna seem a little unrealistic. So I have to say something that it could have been fixed, but that way it's realistically amazing, instead of me just fangirling about something and you being like, okay, well obviously she's just obsessed with this book, so she can't see the flaws. But originally self-published, which is fantastic, but then picked up by a publishing company. It's like reading fanfiction. And I know that sounds like an insult, but it's really not. Fanfiction gives you everything you've been missing. So like when you read Harry Potter and you read a Harry Potter fanfiction, it gives you the relationships and the sexual stuff that you were missing from the books. This is like reading fanfiction because it may just be me, like it could just be me, but it had everything I could have ever wanted. So it's my favorite. I have a favorite book. If one of you reads this and you don't like it, I'm gonna feel so bad. Oh my god. Maybe only read this if you like science fiction and aliens. So the other books I read this month, the first one being the Criet Trilogy Book 2, which is Sea of Stars by Amy A. Bartol. I read Poison Study by Maria B. Snyder. Pierce Brown's Red Rising. Sarah Henshaw's Mad Miss Mimic. V.E. Schwab's A Darker Shade of Magic. Karen McQuestion's From a Different Star. John Green's Paper Towns. And Love, Fortunes, and Other Disasters by Kimberly Karalius. So these are the 3 books I recommend you read this month. You can read anything else. Or not, I don't know. They're really good. I think you won't be disappointed. So, there's that. Okay.